Obviously being first fall with these guys, what's your expectation of the group that you're going to be dealing with, the receivers, but then what do you need to bring to them, you feel like?
Just mindset, mentality. First of all, my objective, my plan with that room was so much talent in there. Bring everybody together, create a family, create a brotherhood atmosphere where we all in it together. Not where we are competing against each other, spots, but at the same time, we all doing it for each other. I may be going with the ones, but I may be supporting the guy going with the fours. I may be going with the threes. I may be supporting the guy that's going with the twos. So that thing kind of cycles. I thought our skills and drills over the summer and our player-led meetings was awesome for us. Every week, what I wanted to do in that receiver room, I wanted to sign a new teacher every week. I want those guys to take pride in what we was doing and feel important to the room. So you go through the whole room and you build trust from everybody. If that one room come together and all do it together, I think we can be pretty solid collectively.
How did that, a teacher a week, how did that work? What did you have the guys do in those rooms?
Well, we're reviewing installs, so simulate the coach, so certain weeks that guy, he's the actual coach going through installs, speaking terminology, what's expected, responsibility, our depth, our splits, our landmarks, what's the thought process of that exact play, signals, and just being the teacher for that room, answering questions. At the same time, it helps those guys absorb everything that we're doing also too.
Did you have anybody that you thought, oh, this guy's coming after my job in a few years?
You got to watch out for Coach LV. He's pretty solid. He worked every camp this summer. He did a great job, man. And every young man that came through here, they're a big fan of LV just because of what he did this summer. So when I talk to those guys, we start talking about who's going to be the dude this year. And my question, I answer that question right back to those guys. What do you think? So LV, Coach, I like LV. He's very fundamental science. Did a good job of teaching and explaining the drill and demonstrating. So I'm expecting him to do great things, Coach. Skill set.
Jeff was saying that you guys are really going to like Jaquez once he kind of gets going there.
Oh yeah.
What did you see from him this summer? What was he bringing to the table?
He just brings that same leadership that he brought from his high school down in Houston. If you paid attention while he's running track, he's a big motivator, encourager. That's the exact kind of teacher and coach I am. I like to motivate and encourage at the same time, challenge, bring everybody together. But just got a skill set where he can play all 5 positions at the receiver spot. Should be great for us, the special teams also too. He comes in physically ready to go, mentally ready to go. And from day one, what I noticed from him this summer, he was vocal when it came to anything that was related to conditioning. I told him, like Coach V always say, leadership has no age, so nobody is motivating, nobody's encouraging. I expect you to do it. These older guys not doing it, I expect for you to do it. It can't be Drake every day. Drake is not going to be here forever. Somebody have to take the baton from him, so.
Coach, where are you talent-wise compared to other places that you've been?
It seemed like you was at my house last night. My wife asked me that same exact question. Collectively, I think this is probably one of the most elite groups I've never been around. I kind of compare those guys to the time I was around Grant, Batson, QT, all those guys together with your Derek Willies. Then my time at Kansas, my first year at Kansas, I had Kwame Lassiter there, Andrew Parchman. Those guys were very talented. So I think those guys are cut from that same tree. I'm just waiting to see the results. But what I've been seeing from spring up until now, as far as learning and picking up what we're doing and adjusting to my style as coaching, it's probably one of the fastest groups to do it. So I just think collectively, we got a chance to be an elite together. And at some point, the alpha will emerge.
So the general thought that you lost a bunch of guys and you don't have the emerging one, especially, you don't buy that.
No, I don't. Matter of fact, I like it like this. I like for people to look at that room and say, we might be down in that receiver position, in that receiver room. So, yeah, we may smile and we hear it, but once we get in that classroom and shut that door, that's a chip on our shoulder when it comes to learning and being great. Those guys didn't resist nothing. The 25,000 Judd catches this summer, those guys ate it up. We have multiple guys in that room. We have 16, 17 receivers in there, probably 12 to 14 caught well over 21,000. Some surpassed 25K, so I didn't have to stand around and watch those guys do that. The only thing I did was just remind and review the chart when they inputted their numbers and You know, that was a thing of beauty to me. You know, those guys took pride in that. You know, so I think we're in great shape.
Coach, on paper, it feels like you've got a bucket of speedsters, Andrell, Jaquez, Brennan, some bigger bodied guys, Nick, JJ. Like, is that how you kind of see it, or do you want to be able to mix and match that so that you can throw out any kind of wide receiver group possible?
Right on. You know, plan on playing alone. You know, and you didn't say Gibson. You know, when you look at the GPS numbers, that's one thing I reviewed last week. I looked at the GPS numbers from all summer. You know, Gibson names keeps popping up. 21, 20.9, 20.8, 20.8. Well, he can run also too. You know, so we have a unique group. And then when you ask those wideouts to break down every guy individually, the first thing they say about Andrell, fast, coach. The first thing they say about Petaway is twitchy, sudden, explosive. Then there's Farouk. You know, just get the ball in his hands. You know, that's Percy Harvin out there with the ball in his hands. So it's up to us to make sure he's touching a rock. You know, he's the kind of guy he want to touch it early. He want to get down and dirty early. He want to get physical. So that's up to us as teachers and coaches to make sure he does that. You know, because he pretty much did everything we asked him to do this summer, on and off the field. So yeah, that's the way you want to build it. You want to be big at times. You want to be strong at times. You want to have a combination of all types of skill sets. Sometimes you just want all speed out there.
Because you had a ton of success on the recruiting trail your first few months on staff at Oklahoma. What do you chalk that up to more so than anything else?
Probably just the time being around high school guys for 14 years in a city, being at a program where, you know, you attract the kids to come to your program, not recruiting players, but attracting players to come to your school, transferring from all across the city. That's just relationships, not really selling nothing, but just being genuine, honest, and just creating that vision for families. And at the same time, you know what areas you need to invest in. Fertile grounds, I believe in investing into fertile grounds. And that's all the way from Pop Warner all the way up. You know, so if I need to show attention to a Pop Warner program from a certain area in the city or a certain area in the state, I do that. You know, wherever I'm needed, I try to be there for those guys. Because I remember the guys that was there for me as a high school coach, and I always want to keep those guys on my side and never want to create enemies when it comes to recruiting players.
Emmett, do you think your philosophy as a recruiter has evolved, changed over the years? I assume you're probably not the same recruiter you were when you first got started.
You just got to know, what you're dealing with. Know what lake you're fishing at, know what type of fish you're trying to catch. I think you got to adjust on the go. They're not going to adjust to you. Not this day and age. You got NILs now, so you have. If it's me, with the NILs, I don't care what school I'm at. I feel like I can recruit against anybody with the way recruiting is going now because it's all legal. As long as I have me a collective group backing me and a solid program, I feel like I can recruit against anybody down with this logo and everything that we have. I don't want to say it makes things easier, but it kind of puts you in the door easier.
Petaway's a guy that seems like everybody's talking about high expectations. What's stood out about his game, and what does a freshman have to do in fall camp to prove to you, hey, I'm ready to play?
Comprehend quick as possible. Pick up the installs, pick up the terminology, pick up the concepts, and pick up what we're doing quick as possible. Understand what the program is about, what we're trying to accomplish with this program. Coach Venables, his philosophy, Coach Levy's vision, then my vision for that wide receiver room. Then every now and then you got to throw them out there to see if they can swim, and that's what we did all summer. First, he started kind of holding someone's hand while he was going out, getting a few reps. We'd have a couple of receivers stand behind him, make sure he was where he was supposed to be. And then probably after like 2 weeks of that, we kind of pulled those guys back, and he was out there on his own. So you can tell he was feeling good about it because he'd text or call, Coach, I don't need anyone out there with me anymore. So I tell those guys, you're just not an inside guy. You're just not a one receiver, or a left receiver, or a right receiver. Learn the whole concept, and that's how we teach it in that room. Just in case you get caught in a situation where guys get banged up and you get short receivers. At some point you want to put your best 2 out there, your best 1, your best 3, your best 4. No matter if they're inside or outside guys. Sometimes you just got to put your best guys out there and go to war.
Do you feel like this is, I think, third season or so we've had the portal the way it is? Do you think you guys as a staff have seen ways that you're adjusting to get guys quicker into their roles? I mean, obviously when those guys come in, a lot of them are ready to make instant impact. Have you sort of figured out ways to make it more seamless for those transfers?
Yeah, you simplify things for them, and you make those guys feel welcome. Like Andrea, I could tell when he first got it, he was swimming, just in a total different world, coming from up north, playing in Michigan, coming out the huddle, no tempo, a lot of run blocking on the perimeter. Here we run a lot, run every play. And me, where I come from, that's pretty much what I've been doing the last 9 years. High tempo, pushing the ball downfield, reps, trying to lead the country in snaps per game. You just simplify this stuff, make those guys feel welcome, and let them know what they can accomplish playing in this system, being around Coach Levy, because he's trying to take care of receivers. So one thing with Coach Levy, you got to gain his trust on and off the field, be a student to what we're doing, and demonstrate that when it's time to demonstrate it. And our guys have been showing that, so you just make those guys feel welcome when they get in, to make the transition smooth as possible.
When a guy is in the portal that you're looking at, is there anything specific that you look for, characteristics? I mean, obviously you want to get the best talent, but are there some other things that when it comes to a transfer guy coming in that you really want to make sure they've got character-wise, personality-wise?
Of course, character, personality, but I look for mental I just look for toughness. Thick-skinned guys that can handle me coaching Monday through Friday, and then they can take it out on an opponent Saturday night. That's what I look for. I don't get caught up in a track guy that can run a 10-1. I want to know if he can handle the trenches, if he can handle me out there. Is he a football player running track? Those kind of guys I like to look for instead of track guys playing football. Sometimes you can find good guys, but I like football guys that run track. But for the most part, it's mindset, mental toughness, thick-skinned guys.
Is that the kind of guy Brennan is?
Yes, he is. He's hungry. Feel like he have a lot to prove. And then, and me, I try to bring it out of him and you just give him that vibe that I'm watching you every step. I'm on you, tough. You got to show me, because I know what you was doing out of high school. I know where you came from. You went down to Austin, and from where I was raised at, we all kind of viewed Austin a certain way. So you got to show me you thick-skinned. So he's been doing that. We've been putting a lot of pressure on him, been responding. Just looking forward to him getting loose, man, and just settling down and getting comfortable with what we're doing here at Oklahoma. So this month of August is huge for him.
How much fun can you have with a guy like Gavin Freeman and be versatile with him?
Man, you can be so creative with him. He allows you to open up that playbook. You can play fast with him, like I said, running back, outside receiver, inside receiver, tough kid, man. He just have that mindset and that swagger. And he just feel like he can win every rep. I don't care if that's run blocking or option routes or working over the middle, trying to get open. He just feel like he can win every rep. But creative, explosive guy, man, that's going to be very successful here at the University of Oklahoma.
And forgive me if you've already touched on this, but when you've got a group of transfers and young guys who are looking to make their mark and get involved, what do you look for this month and even into the in the non-conference play and all that for the guys who are going to stick and be playing in October, November?
Well, you break it down like I tell my son. I told him last night. It's one day at a time process. Told Farouk about that yesterday too in the building. It's a one day at a time process. We got to help each other get through this. We're going to make sure we understand what we're doing every day. I'm gonna need you at times, and sometimes you're gonna need me to help. I'm gonna need you to help me get through it sometime. Be there for each other. You just simplify everything for guys, and make sure you monitoring guys from a hydration standpoint, from a rep count, and checking their GPS number, see how total yardage, see how I need to taper off for certain guys. But you're just like getting ready for an exam. If you in coaching and you're teaching and you got a big test coming up and you're taking it step by step. I don't want to flood too much on them. I just want to take it step by step and get to the big prize at the end of the day. So I just think it's a process, there's steps to it, and that's from every day, all the way from when we check in the building to when we leave the building, and we do it again the next day. Just break it down and just chalk the days down.
So Jaleel and your son get the same advice there.
Pretty much, it's new for my son. Jaleel, my style of coaching and breaking everything down to him and starting from square one for him was pretty much new to him. Really just teaching him how to play the position. Told me, he never really was taught how to play the position. It's always use my talent in this system. I want to enhance your talent while playing in a good system also too. Then that can make you more of a deadly player. And he's been soaking it up, so I'm on it kind of tough. I watch his every step, and you may see me at practice sometime, kind of breathing down his back a little rough, but that's just getting him ready. And those guys know it's just nothing is personal. It's just a challenge. I'm looking for a good response.
Competitive depth's been a kind of a big buzzword around here. Is your room maybe the best example of that, because there are so many guys that are just maybe a little bit unproven on the field?
Right on. If you research me, I'm known to have a room full of guys. I'm known to be 4 deep at every spot, especially in fall camp. That's why I like to build that room up. I like to treat everybody like they starters. I don't care if you're the walk-on or not. Some of my best players since I've been coaching were walk-ons, so I treat those guys like they up for the Blitnikoff, so there's no favoritism in my room. And you invest in every last one of those guys where we can divide the reps up at practice, and that's the way I like to roll it. Every 2 plays, I try to get a fresh set of legs out there, unless it's just a certain situation at practice. But every 2 plays, I try to get a fresh set of legs out there, as long as you continue to do a good job of me gaining trust in you and Coach Levy gaining trust in you, and we able to continue to roll as an offense. I try my best to keep fresh legs out there so we can play with a max effort every time we touch the field.
He came in as a walk-on, though Gavin's on scholarship now.
Yes, he did.
What did you see about him through spring that it seems like there's constant buzz about him?
Matter of fact, came in as a walk-on, and technically he really not even supposed to be here. If you do your research,
Sure.
Because when I joined the other staff,
Yeah.
my first phone call when I took a job was to Gavin Freeman. But out of nowhere, I just received a call from that other place, like, don't talk to him anymore. Like, we were going to separate. I was like, huh? He's a perfect inside receiver in this system. Now he's here with a chip on his shoulder. And I remind him about that all the time. And I coach him hard. I coach Drake hard. I coach Gavin hard. Because the guys give you that vibe, that's what they want. They want to be challenged, extremely tough. But and he's been answering all the questions that you've been giving him this summer as far as responding. Put on weight, solid, man. Playing faster, he's thinking quicker, getting to his spot quicker, and he's doing a better job with getting himself available and ready for perimeter blocking when he comes to dominate that spot.
He's not just an inside guy, is he? Is he primarily inside?
I never recruit just inside or outside guys. Never. I think if you do that, you just handicap yourself as a player. That's one thing I talk to high school receivers about it, high school coaches about. You build those guys so they can play on spot. Never will get myself in a situation where there's only inside guys, there's only outside guys, and you lose some inside guys. The outside guys only know the outside spot, they can't move inside, or vice versa. So, like I say, you can catch all inside guys on the field at times, or you can catch all outside guys on the field. Big guy like Jaden Gibson, probably one of the smartest receivers in the room, besides Drake Stoops. Everything when it comes to this offense. Probably can play quarterback, communicate with the O-line, communicate with the back, communicate with the receivers, operate the play. That's one thing that blows me away from him. So I'm excited about him, that big size, that big presence. And one thing I see about him, just reviewing GPS numbers, he gets strong as he go downfield. So I think every 50-50 ball in the area is his. As long as he have a chance to get it, I think every ball is his. So I just got to get him more mentally stronger, always ready to move on to the next play. What's next? So that's what he's been showing off. So
in terms of development, when you're developing a guy, you're kind of known for that. Is there that first step to get there? What needs to happen for a young guy, like maybe like a Jaquez Petaway, that okay, we can kind of take this next step for him?
Just being attentive in the classroom, being available when we need to meet one-on-ones. That's through texting over the phone, group chat, calling over the phone, or actually meeting one-on-one. Then I'm in a great spot right now because I have some guys, quite a large room that's been around me since this spring.
Sure.
So now I got these new guys in, so the new guys can come in and watch from the older guys. They can watch at least 10 older guys take reps or answer questions before it's your time. And so I give those guys, certain guys, to emulate. Watch how he move, watch how he operate, and watch how he study. Do everything that he do, but do it better. See Drake, he's always the first one in the meeting room. Never let him beat you in the meeting room. See Drake or LV, they're always the first guy in line when it comes to fundamentals. Don't let those guys be the first guy in line. Master what they're doing, master what we're doing offensively, then I expect for you to be better than those guys. But just show the eagerness to learn, willing to come up to the building, put in the extra work when it comes to study, board, film work, just talking ball.
competitive depth, something that's been talked a lot. Efficiency on third and fourth down, also through line. For the wide receivers, what does that look like to improve on third and fourth down for your room?
Understand the situation of football. That's what we talked about yesterday. We talked about the plan to win for our room, the wide receiver room. Of course, there's a major plan to win for the program, but we break it down from the receiver room also too. We are a program within a program. So one of our main points when it comes to the plan to win is never defeat yourself. Don't never want to lose to Oklahoma, and creating special plays. And just attacking situations. That third and short, whatever kind of situation is, make sure mentally that we understand exactly what we're doing. It could be 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, when this route may need to go half a yard deeper, or I may need to be locked in on this play because it's a big time situation. And you create those moments within every type of teaching chance you get with those guys. It's always situational. And then just mentality as far as making a competitive catch, in those competitive situations. 3rd down and long, I don't care if you doubled or you tripled, the ball is coming our way, we got to come down with it. And then again, you create those situations again in the classroom, on the football field, and everything that we're doing from a learning standpoint.